Shri Gurucharitra, Chapter 30. Shri Gurudeva Datta Parabrahmane Namaha. Brahmin's sentiment of sorrow for the death of her husband, counseling of knowledge to her. Namadharaka got prepared himself to receive the knowledge ambrosia called Shri Gurucharitra. The Yogeshwar Siddha very affectionately embraced him and said, "You have been fortunate enough to receive Guru's grace. There is no doubt that all your desires will be fulfilled. Nothing is greater than the glory of Guru in this entire universe." I am going to narrate to you Shri Guru Charitra in a nutshell. Remember that Shri Guru Charitra is an effective instrument for intensification of devotion towards Guru. Lord Shri Dattatreya, a form of trigods, by incarnating himself as Shri Narsimha Saraswati, stayed at Gangapur and exhibited his enormous outstanding glories. Having heard about the boundless fame of Shri Guruji, people in large numbers started flocking towards Shri Guruji. Having met Shri Guruji at Gangapur, the diseased ones got disease free, the blind ones became visioned, issueless ones begot, seekers of wealth got wealth. Thus, all types of worldly people, according to their merits, benefited immensely by the grace of Shri Guruji. The virtuous ones experienced inner peace and happiness. On the northern side, in the city of Mahurgad, there lived a rich Brahmin by name Gopinath with his wife. He was a man of noble descent and a staunch devotee of Sri Gurudeva Datta. The children begotten by them used to die instantly. Therefore, they grieved a lot in their life. As they continued to worship Sri Gurudeva Datta, at last they were blessed with a good cultured boy. As he was born by the grace of Sri Datta Guru, they named him as Datta. The boy Datta was brought up in a rich, refined environment. When he attained the age of 12 years, according to then prevailing custom, they arranged to get him married to a decent girl from a respectable family. All the members of the family lived in a happy and cordial environment. There was perfect understanding, common thinking, and uniform approach between that young couple in all the family affairs. They never used to get separated from each other. This being so, one day that young boy Datta, as divine will had it, was troubled by a dreadful disease. Though the parents tried to treat him by hundreds of types of medical therapies, there was no improvement in his health. Instead of improving, the disease got so much aggravated that he had developed disliking for food. His wife followed him. She, while abandoning food, sleep, and comforts, took care of his health throughout the day. Meanwhile, a period of 3 years passed in that state of affairs. But the disease did not get cured. Finally, it took a turn and assumed the nature of tuberculosis. Day by day, due to prolonged sickness and fasting, the boy grew weak and became thin. So also was his wife's condition. Gradually, her husband's body started emitting bad odor. As such, the doctors and his relatives and friends were hesitant to visit him. Members of her family pressurized her at least to take care of herself and change her lifestyle, as there were no chances of her husband getting recovered from the calamity. However, she did not give up her hopes and efforts. So much devoted she was. The devoted wife, thinking that her husband was everything to her, was engaged in the service of her husband ceaselessly. For the recovery of their son, the boy's parents spent a lot of money and sincerely performed many religious ceremonies, offered gifts by way of charity, arranged for Brahmins' common meal program, and the like. Even they surrendered to their family deity with a prayer for favoring them. They arranged for his medical treatment by the best out of the best physicians. Still, there were no signs of improvement in Datta's health condition. His health was getting deteriorated day by day. The physicians expressed their inability to treat him by informing that the patient did not respond to their treatment and declared that there were no chances of his survival. They were unable to give any favorable assurances. They further told that the nature of the disease was such that it could not be treated by physicians only, nor by any human efforts. If at all he was to survive, they said it would be merely by the grace of Lord Shankar. As a last resort, the aggrieved parents surrendered to Shri Gurudeva Datta, at whose blessings he was born, and humbly prayed to him by several ways to save the child from the imminent danger. The young diseased boy Datta, looking at the miserable condition of his parents, embraced them and tried to pacify them by various means. His mother was in no mood to listen to him any more. She at once fainted. Datta was aware that his death was approaching him speedily. He told his wife to return to her parents' place if she were to find it uncomfortable to stay at her in-law's place after his demise. He wished that her chastity would certainly protect her. When the members of the family heard these words from his mouth, they were greatly sorrowed. His parents started crying in a raised tone. One day, that chaste wife consoled her in laws in the following words: Hey, revered ones, be free from all kinds of anxiety. Sri Datta Guru is always favorable to my husband. Why to worry when he has Guruji's grace on him? I am sure by the grace of Lord Mrityunjay, my husband shall remain alive. Shri Narsingh Saraswati, who stays at Gangapur, is an incarnation of Holy Trinity. Many of my well-wishers have advised me to take shelter under his holy feet. By meeting him at Gangapur, undoubtedly my husband is going to recover. Now we must leave for Gangapur at the earliest. Without any hesitation, kindly permit and bless us to proceed to Gangapur. Then the elders were convinced and permitted them to proceed towards Gangapur. She carried her husband, who was suffering from serious ailment, in a couch in a sleeping position. While leaving her home, she told them that everything would be all right once they reach Gangapur and meet Shri Guruji there. She also appealed to them not to have suspicion in their minds about the results of their visit and saluted them before leaving. The in-laws blessed the young couple for their success in the mission and believed that on account of their daughter-in-law's religious merit, their only son would survive and return home. That young girl, making her husband to rest in couch, started the journey towards Gangapur. In the middle of the journey itself, due to Tridosha, Datta's disease got aggravated and he suffered a lot. With great difficulty, she managed to reach the main gate of Gangapur. There, she learnt from the people that Shri Narsingh Saraswati Guruji had gone to Sangam for performing his routine religious rituals. While she was proceeding towards Gangapur along with the couch carrying her husband, suddenly he breathed his last. His end came. At that moment, she could not bear the pangs of separation of her husband. She struck blows to her head by picking up a stone and also banged her head to the earth. In a depressed and passionate mood, she took up a knife and attempted for stabbing her stomach. She, in a grieved tone, told, Hey Gurunatha, I came to see you with full confidence that you are all capable of curing my diseased husband. I carried him to Gangapur by separating him from his parents, by assuring them that he would certainly survive by your grace. Now I have to carry a label of slaying my husband on me forever. I am the most unfortunate woman. What is finally left with me is only melancholy and not my husband. She lamented thus. People from around Gangapur tried to pacify her by several ways, but she did not get consoled. She happened to recollect the incidents of her past life. She was thinking in her mind thus: with the intention of saving my husband, I brought him in the vicinity of Shri Guruji by separating him from his parents. But it served no purpose. I myself have become the cause of killing my own husband. Whatever vows, religious rituals, pious deeds, charity, and worship I performed right from the childhood have become worthless. God did not oblige me. How can I live now by being a young widow? She recollected blissful moments of her married life while speaking to her deceased husband in mind. Hey Lord of my life, with hope to keep you alive, I separated you from your dear parents and carried you all the way to this place. But instead of saving your life, I have taken it away. Your poor, helpless parents are sure to commit suicide after listening to this sad news. In that case, I shall be carrying a stigma of annihilating two persons at a time on my shoulders. I am going to become a subject of dishonor. Now, how can I show my face to my in laws? Taking Guru himself to be a final resort, I surrendered to him sincerely, but to my ill fortune, even he did not come to my rescue. Thus she was grieving. At that moment, an ash smeared Rudraksha beads adorned and matted haired ascetic arrived with a trident in his hand closer to her. That yogi, referring to her, imparted the philosophical knowledge in these words: Hey, young girl, you are grieving without any reason. There is nothing to grieve. Whatever happens in this world is governed by past actions. No one can defy the writings of Lord Brahma in his destiny. Divine will prevail. All the so called worldly relations spring up from imagination. They are not real. Only relations with God are everlasting. All other relations are not enduring in this wheel of worldly life. Both birth and death are not realities. Soul is the only reality. The attachment, which is the product of illusion, itself is the cause of worldly relations. Even gods who have billions of years of lifespan cannot surpass death. One's living is governed by his lifespan. Death follows like a shadow the moment one is born. There is no point in grieving simply for the sake of this perishable body. Instead, you endeavor to learn the means to cross over this worldly life by contemplating on the ever present, non destructible Supreme Soul. Thus, the yogi imparted her eternal knowledge. She was enlightened by the advice given by that great ascetic to her. She saluted him with folded hands and prayed thus: Hey, the great master, being an outsider, I have no one here to take care of me. Now, you only are the father and mother for me. In this critical moment, kindly give me the most beneficial advice and elevate me. For the time being, my mind is totally blank and I am mentally inert. I cannot differentiate between what is good and bad for me. Which is the right path I am supposed to follow for my upliftment in this world and the next world? Kindly advise me about the right course of action to be pursued. Thus she prayed. Here ends the 30th chapter in the most auspicious Shri Gurucharitra. Shri Gurudev Datta. Shri Guru Dattatreya Arpanamastu.